What is going on, everybody? This is Jerry here with Christian, Collective Podcast, episode 23. Christian, how are you doing?
I'm cold. I'm super cold.
I feel bad for you.
The polar vortex is going to kill us all.
Do you want me to give you a hug right now?
Climate change, global warming, it's going to kill. Global warming, it's going to kill. Global cooling, it's going to kill us all. It's negative 55 degrees out. We're all going to die, Jerry.
I think it's more convincing that you're in a hood, and then you're going to really convince me of my points of climate change.
I'm being a rapper today. I'm going to drop the. I'm going to drop a beat.
You're going to drop a beat?
Yeah.
You have the computer.
Yeah, no.
What do I have to lose?
Your hearing, your sanity.
if I haven't lost it already.
Oh, well, of course. But, so Jerry, last week's episode, Black Sun, the Seventh Seal, success. I got a lot of feedback from it. One in particular, Mr. Joseph Volanti.
After 15 seconds, he is mentioned on the podcast.
Gives me a text.
Love it.
He texts me. He goes, all right, listen to the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, what'd you think of it? I'm confused. And I'm like, we all are.
Oh, Joe.
That's the only way I said to him. I'm like, we're all confused.
But wasn't he kind of like in knowing about everything?
No, he knew you want to know something? It was so long ago that I think he forgot the script, and I forgot it too. So
I thought he wrote it because of how confusing it was.
Oh my god, I was confused. I'm still confused. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
You know what's less confusing than that, though?
What?
It is our special guest who will be coming on momentarily, Justin Sarachik. Justin Sarachik has been in the journalism field for quite a long time. He actually worked with me with Broken Records Magazine, worked at The Advance.
Which means you also worked with me, too.
Yes,
Broken
he did.
Records Magazine. No, you want to know what's funny about having Justin on? Is that when I arrived to set up, we were talking about the Seven Seal episode, and we realized that he did a podcast many, many moons ago, and we were his first guest. And what were we talking about? We were promoting Black Sun, the Seventh Seal. So that
is ironic, though.
So it is officially come full circle, Jerry, with Justin.
It is now the sun.
Oh yes, now it's so what were we talking to him about, Jerry?
We're gonna talk to him about just life in general. It's been about like 2 years now, I think, since I've last seen him. So I want to catch up with him. I want you to watch uncomfortably as I catch up with him, and to look into my beautiful eyes that no one else thinks is beautiful.
Yeah, which should be another one of those Jerry-led episodes where I just sit in the corner and be quiet. But now you get to stare at me and do it, since we're on camera now.
There you go.
There you go. As always, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the download button on all of your apps, all the podcasting apps. Ones like, for example, Anchor, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, all of our great sponsors there as well. Watch us on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, hit the bell on the side so you know when we're dropping all of our videos. Collective gaming still going on.
Mm-hmm.
I got the EverDrive, the Super EverDrive finally.
I like it.
Yeah, so we're going to be pushing forward with more Jerry episodes of him just winning at Mario Party.
And if you haven't found me on Craigslist, my name is Christian Caputo.
Oh, well, there you go. So, I guess that drops all of our house cleaning in terms of the podcast. So let's get to the interview.
Get to it.
Let's do some interviewing, Jerry.
Love it. What is going on, Collective Podcast here, episode 23. We are with the one and only Justin Sarachik.
Live and in the house.
Justin, how the hell are you?
It's been a while, man. So Gerard and I have known each other for, like 8 or 9 years?
Going on 10.
Going on 10 years, and for the last 3 years I haven't seen him, and he's lived like 3 blocks away from me.
That's what usually happens. It's that neighborhood neglect, and I do apologize for the miscommunications and mishaps.
No, there's no miscommunication. Yeah, man, it's all love. We're living lives. We're old men now.
Yeah, I'm old in my 20s.
I'm 30. We're not.
So you're young.
Yeah. We're not in our youthful Broken Records Magazine days anymore, where we just kind of made up things and drove places and cars overheated and you left me.
Cars overheat. Holy shit. Wow.
Told that story the other day.
Oh my God.
It was fresh on my head. It's a good story.
It is
Oh
a
my
good
God.
story. That's so long ago.
Should we tell it?
Yeah,
on the
why not?
podcast?
Tell it.
Tell
So
it.
it was back in the day. Shout out to Scott Vollweiler, owner of, well, I'm not sure what they're doing right now, but Broken Records magazine. Gerard had got me to be in BRM, and the first assignment we ever did, or I ever did, was Scream It Like You Mean It, right?
Such a good
It was
festival. though.
2010, maybe?
Yeah.
2011. So Gerard's like, I have all these interviews booked. You can come with me. And then I drove, and my car was kind of on the fritz at that point, but not as fritzy as it was a lot fritzier than I thought, to keep using that word. So when we got over the bridge into New Jersey, my car just overheated and died.
Yeah.
And I basically just made it over onto the service road and parked in front of someone's house, and my car overheated. So this nice Spanish woman came out and gave us water bottles, and I drank some. It was super hot too.
Yeah.
I was just pouring
It's
it
like
on my
in July.
engine to cool it down. And Gerard called his mom, and I went to call my mom because I need to figure out what I was doing. I turn around, Gerard is gone. So Gerard called his mom to come pick him up to bring him to Starland Ballroom. Didn't even tell me. He just left me with my car. So then my mom comes and she picks me up. She drives me to Starland. We only missed one interview, right?
Oh yeah. It was like way early.
We
in the
missed
day.
one, and then I missed one.
Right.
But we got everybody else.
I had a backup camera.
Yeah, and we wound up getting a ride home with the WSIA people. Shout out to
Oh my
Jenna,
God,
Melinda,
wow.
Nicole Giordano. There was a couple other people in the
Now
car.
it's really coming back.
There was
to me,
like
dude.
6 people in a car that should have been for 4 people, and we got it back to my car, and we drove home with the heat on, blasting to get the heat out of the engine, in like 90-degree weather, blasting heat. Luckily, we're both on the South Shore, and I made it home.
And no one drank that night.
Yeah, it was
That's the most miraculous
quite an
thing.
experience. That's a great way to open up a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
To tell you the relationship
Throwback
that I have with
Thursdays for a
Gerard,
reason.
Was
who
this-
leaves me on the side of the road, doesn't even tell me.
Was this before you used me for Broken Records for the video?
Probably.
Right before.
Probably.
Well, that was like our first interview was who was it? It was what's his name from Australia?
Cody Simpson.
Oh yeah, Cody Simpson.
Cody Simpson was like 2011.
Yeah, and I didn't I drove, but I didn't go over bridges and stuff because I was afraid to.
And then Kenny had to pull us a favor.
we had Clugs drive us to, where was it, Long Island?
Long Island.
We had Clugs drive us to Long Island, and we all bought. This is
2-hour
like the first
drive.
time. This is the first time we ever like I knew Clugs, but this is like the first time we ever like
Yeah.
were in the car and we bonded over like Tony Hawk Pro Skater music.
Even I had
Yeah.
something to add to the conversation.
Oh yeah. But that's my story.
So that's Gerard, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi.
Am I in the camera?
Yeah, you are.
I don't know. It feels like it's giving me
Nah,
the side eye.
I see you.
Oh man, that's good.
It's
You
gonna
got
be
a good
rest
camera.
in
You're all
face.
leveled and you got.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, you're
I
good.
can't look at the camera. I'm trying to look at Gerard, but he's scary.
I'm a pretty scary guy, dude. What can I say?
Yeah, he's a scary guy.
So, Justin, I wanted to hear, like, now I know you've gotten more expanded in journalism recently, doing stuff with Rapzilla, but I'm curious, though, like, do you actually still do music at any point?
Like my own music.
Like, your own rap music and stuff like that?
Well, that's a funny story. So my band Process of Fusion actually predates me being a journalist. It's our 10th. Actually, 2008 was 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And 2000 and what was it? A couple weeks ago would actually been the 10-year anniversary of the first show with like Dylan and Rose and everybody in the band.
Yeah, because it was you, Pat, and somebody else, like, as your first show, right?
Yeah, my friend Steve, and then the next show was Mike, who we talked about before.
Gotcha.
Nope, other way. First show was Mike, and then it was Steve. Then we had this guy named Jeremy. Then we had Sam Caputo, and then now we have Jomar. Always going through drummers. Oh, and we had Manny, like twice, for 2 different occasions.
Oh, yeah, I remember when Manny was in the band.
But, yeah, so we started working on a 14-track full-length album 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago now, in 2016. And it took us 2 years to record it. We finally finished it last March. And since March, we had been waiting to get the mixes and masters back from the studio. And they just weren't coming. And we're like, hey, man, it's been like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Are we gonna get it? Yeah, it's coming in July. Yeah, it's coming in August. We only got like 2 tracks back. So finally, we were just like, hey, it's almost been a year. Can we just have all of the stems, all of the mixes and everything? And we're just gonna go somewhere else to get it mixed.
Yeah.
That finally happened 2 weeks ago. So now I brought a hard drive filled with 140 gigs of our music.
Oh my god.
To a friend.
Oh man.
Who's basically a computer's worth of files. Brought it to my friend. He's gonna mix it down, master it, and maybe we will finally have an album within the next like month or so. After about a year of just sitting.
Don't you feel like recording is a hero's journey?
Yeah, it's a blast, but like when you have 5 people and then 2 vocalists, then you're doing all this weird prog stuff that's like 5, 6, 7 minutes long. We had to go drive 2 hours into Long Island to record where we used to record. The guy was always super booked.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention it.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a great time recording with him. Super solid dude. The best recording experience I ever had, but unfortunately it ended kind of bad in that way.
Right.
But I mean, we did great work there. But it was like, say it was like, okay, you could come in January 30th. All right, when's the next date available? April 15th. So it was like, that's why it took like 2 years.
It's literally now or never.
Right. So we just had to pound out like 10, 13-hour days of recording. So hopefully that's going to come. The album's called The Parallel and Perpendicular. I got the hip-hop itch again. I actually have an entire EP produced and written, self-produced and written. I produced a beat last night, actually, that I'm going to do a collab with somebody named Thomas Anucci.
I was going to say, I'll volunteer myself on it.
He's from Hawaii. He won the Hawaiian equivalent of a Grammy Award.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to do this track together. That'll be my first foray back into hip-hop in like 6 years. And then I want to drop my EP after my band's album comes out. So, yeah, there's moving. Got a lot of stuff happening this year.
That goes without saying. So where to begin on that? So I'm curious, with all the recording stuff you've had, was there ever that one, like, mix you've gotten back, you feel like you killed it so well, like, in the process, but then you hear it, you're like, holy shit, I messed up so many times?
Well, it's funny because how we recorded is we do like 5 takes of every single part. At least, well, for me, it's going to be vocals. So we kind of like comped it, the best parts of the 5 takes together. So I never really got a mix that I was like, man, I could have done that better.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like one song where like looking back, since it took 2 years to record, looking back like now I'm so much more familiar with that song. Like I could have went in and did that so much better, or I could have did it in a different way. But when it was 2 years ago, it was still like trying to figure it out.
It's just evolving.
Right. But also it's funny because I'm pretty monotone, I think. And so like I'll be in the vocal booth and I'm like screaming my brains out, yelling, I'm giving it my all. And then it comes back and it's and we listen to the track and it's like, yo, and I'm like, what? I was like, I can't even breathe. How did that happen? So like, Justin, you got to push harder. I'm like, push harder. I got nothing left. So then I'm like turning purple, about to have an asthma attack. And then I finally get there. But like, I guess like my perception of what I actually sound like is way different. But I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can.
I know the struggle's real for us rappers sometimes.
I'm doing the best.
Or you as a rapper sometimes.
I'm doing the best I can, man.
So, kind of to jump a little bit with Rapzilla, like, now you've had your journalism background for a long time. What do you feel like you have some sort of, like, patterns that are similar with how you write your rap songs and then how you write, like, your articles and stuff like that? Do you kind of follow a pattern as far as, like, with schemes and stuff like that, like in your story?
It's interesting because somebody once asked me after I interviewed them and they saw the article, they said, "Are you a rapper?" And I was like, kinda. Not, I would say like unofficially. And he goes, "I could tell by the way you wrote your article." And I was like, that's interesting. Like I wasn't, he's like, your articles seem to have some sort of flow to it.
Yeah.
I never really picked up on that before. There's certain things I think sometimes I'll try to be like a little clever or wordy intentionally. Maybe that's like an MC mind coming out a little
Sure.
bit in the song. But for me, it's kind of two different brains where, music, I'm very focused, like, ultra personally, and trying to, you're working on that rhyme and just trying to fit things together like a puzzle. Where when I'm writing, my total focus is that subject. I want to tell the most incredible story ever, even if the story is not that incredible. Like, I have to make it super interesting. And I'm just trying to, like, what would make people want to click on this and make a person who might be like a 1 out of 10, let's say, what would make him seem like a star to the people reading this?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a different gear, but I guess maybe subconsciously they go together.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I could definitely, now having kind of somewhat of a similar background, like doing journalism and then hip-hop and then kind of like interchanging them.
Yeah.
I kind of sense that a little bit, even in my own writing. Like, I'll when I write something like an article, I'll always try to have some sort of schematic that I'm going to find interesting.
Right.
Sometimes that's a strength, but more often than not, it could be a weakness because it's only subjective to you.
Yeah. And I mean, often what I do is I basically write my story while I'm interviewing the person, in the sense that, like, I kind of like bookmark ideas. So I might be talking to you, and you tell me something, and right away that thing you told me, bam, that's the story right here. So I kind of like make a mental note. That's gonna be a story. And then you might talk about something else, and I'm like, okay, that's totally unrelated, but that's a different story. So I tend to at least try to get 2 stories out of every interview that I do, so I can take it in 2 different places without, sometimes you don't want to get like a disjointed story. Like, talking about A and B, they're both interesting things. Why should I cut one? I'll make 2 stories out of it.
Yeah.
And I'll space them out like a week apart. If my interviews are like 20 minutes, I hate it. Like, I don't want an artist to be like, yeah, you only got 20 minutes. I don't want to talk to you. I can't get to know you. I can't break down any walls
If
that
you're
we
not
have.
talking for an hour, like, there's almost no
Right.
point.
Like, for me, and I kind of pride myself in when someone tells me 20, 25 minutes, I'll get in good, and then I'll be like, so how are we doing on time? And then most of the time they're like, nah, man, we're good. I'm having a good time. So my average interview, I'd say, is around 40 minutes, somewhere between 40 minutes to an hour. And in that time, I feel like I can seduce you into telling me anything, including your social security number. I'll get that information.
All right,
and
I'm going to tell you Christians right now.
Oh my God, no!
He's like, I actually had this prepared. He had it in his pocket.
I've had this in my wallet my whole time.
He's serenading you with his
With
his
social
questions.
security number.
It's like, so what does this? So how do you, like, this would be like the question? Be like, so what was your inspiration for the 3rd song on your album? Also, what's your social security number?
Does it line up correctly with the digits?
Yes. Well, with the rhythm and the flow of it. By the way, I think it's this
Song.
is my number.
So track 3, that's the first letter.
That's
That's the first number, right?
That's the first number.
That's the first number, right? It's in numerical order. My social security number is 1 through 10. Wow, that's incredible.
Who would have known?
Who would have known it was that easy to take
It's not like you
over
could
your
have picked it
identity?
yourself or something. So now, what's your opinion as far as, like, of op-eds? Do you feel like there's too many op-eds out in, like, the media?
I mean, one of the things that I was taught in school, I did learn things in school. I did enjoy school, everybody. Especially journalism. Journalism school, I enjoyed. I had a teacher who says, when you're a journalist, nobody cares about your opinion. You're there to tell a story and to do a job. You're not putting any twist on it. You're not doing anything. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, tell the story. Tell the facts. Get them as accurate and correct as you can. Double check, fact check. But now everything's an opinion piece because everyone's got a freaking opinion on something. Or you have news organizations, like you have Fox is super conservative, when you have CNN that's super liberal. And of course, they take their own spin, but then they say they're fair and balanced journalism. Like, no, neither of you are.
Exactly.
If you're taking a stance and you can't, like, correctly talk about
You're
something.
pretty much endorsing whoever at the moment.
Right. So everything including the news, is an op-ed. I think they're necessary when you're the right person to say it. I think the problem is that every person thinks that they have a platform and the right and the ability to speak on subjects, and maybe only 1 out of 10 of those people should have any say in that. And maybe some people shouldn't talk about it at all. Everyone's got an opinion on Facebook. My mind has never been changed.
Everyone's on collective podcasts.
Yeah, it's funny. The people who have the most opinions on Facebook are usually the people that are just talking to people that have the same opinions as them.
Yeah.
But it's geared at people who don't have the same opinion as them, but they're not friends with those people. So it's just people liking to hear their own opinion and talk to themselves. I guess to sum it up, I think opinion pieces are necessary, but I think the right people need to do them. Like, be qualified to speak about this. Like, I'm not going to go and write an op-ed about what I think about Donald Trump and the economy and the political stances of the United States. I'm a music journalist. Nobody cares. If you want to ask me about the current state of independent hip-hop or Christian music, which is most of the music I've covered in my career, or what it's like to be a freelance journalist, I got stories for days. I'm qualified. I can tell you that. But otherwise, no. Like, I could take it or leave it.
Fair enough. So, when it comes down to, like, Rapzilla and what you're writing, like, now and everything like that, and the relationships you've had over time, who are some people you've gotten to be very good friends with, like, in your years of interviewing people? Like, you were big with, like, you're still big with Christian rap music and stuff like that. So, do you have, like, some good personal friends that you've, like, established over time?
Oh, yeah, especially in that sphere, because Rapzilla covers Christian hip-hop. It's the biggest news source for it in the world. And it's actually, in hip-hop in general, it's ranked, I think, top 15. So it's a big site regardless of what it's covering. I've made a ton of friends there. If you've heard of this group, Social Club, Capitol Records, they've charted, they've been on TV.
I've known about No Big Deal through you.
No Big Deal is a very cool dude. I met him in person. I've interviewed him maybe 5 times. I met him in person a couple months ago in Manhattan. He's coming through March 3rd on his solar tour to Brooklyn. So plan on meeting up with him there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed. I wouldn't say I'm not friends with him at all. He has no idea who I am. But if everyone has seen NF, he's got millions and millions of streams.
NF's amazing.
I interviewed him before he was like NF. I think he had like 5,000 Facebook followers. Now,
get out of here.
Now he's got like 25 million.
One of his songs has like, I think, 300 to 400 million plays.
He's one of the biggest artists in the world, and nobody talks about him.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like I was like, yes, I was in there.
I was listening to his song "Why" the other day at the gym.
It's huge. He's everywhere. And very low-key guy. Never gets in trouble, never gets any bad press because he doesn't do any press. It's genius. If you don't say anything, people will just listen to your music and you can live a happy life. If you're like, I want to go on and do a radio tour and then say dumb things or get myself in hot water, then people get mad at you. But if you say nothing and just let the marketing take care of your brand, gold. And NF's brand is amazing. It's so consistent. Other friends I've made... a lot of smaller artists, mid-tier artists. I talk to Mac Lethal every once in a while.
Jerry's buddy.
Not a Christian hip hop artist, but I mean every time I see him,
dude, his YouTube videos now they're blowing up.
He's amazing. He's an entrepreneur. It's always love when I see him. He's been very elusive for me trying to get that Mac Lethal interview that I've been trying to get for 7 years already. It's going to happen this year. I'm feeling it.
I still remember we were at that diner, and I talked to him about K Reno, and he's flipping out. He's like, "How the fuck do you know who K Reno is?"
Yeah, he's but he knows everyone. He's been around for so long and killing it independently, all on his own, and just in ingenious ways. He figured out things that worked and he did it, and he's successful, and he's got kids, and he's got a wife, and he's got a nice house, and he's able to make money off of just him being creative. So shout out to Mac Lethal, living the American dream without giving all his money away to a label. it only took him maybe like.
Imagine if we closed
yeah.
off that. It's like America. Good night, guys.
I mean, it took him like what 12 years, 11 years, but I'm sure it's definitely worth it now. All that grind, right, to get there.
So, kind of got a throwback question, as you did your Throwback Thursday story with me. So, you had your Broken Records Collective Cypher, which I watch maybe once a year. It's astounding work, of course. I love it. So, I was curious to know is, if you guys redid that Broken Records Cypher, like now, who do you think would be the best person?
I mean, the best two are still going to be Freestyle Fam.
Yeah.
Because they're amazing rappers. Funny story about that. My verse should have never started off, and that wasn't supposed to be the verse that I spit. My verse was so much better. But when it came time to film it, I totally forgot it. Totally forgot what the verse was. So I was like, I have to rap something I know. So I literally rapped like the first rap verse I ever wrote, which sounded like it when you watch the video. When the video was over, I was able to recite the whole verse that I was supposed to.
Oh my
But
God, that's
it was
ridiculous.
done. And I was like, come on, I'm so bad at memorizing lyrics. I think I would, Freestyle Fam would still be the best. I think I'd give them a run for their money.
Oh, man.
They'd
You heard it first.
They'd still 20 out of 10 me, but I'd at least go 7.5.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone there is super talented. I mean, Sig doesn't rap anymore, so.
You know me and him work together, right?
Yeah?
At the JCC.
Oh, nice. Awesome, yeah. Well, Sig don't rap anymore, so I don't know how he'd be. Vinny's still doing music. I'm sure Vinny would do well. I mean, yeah, that was it. It was, the 5 of us? I mean, everyone would still bring it.
I gotcha.
I'll just say that I would be much better.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to be the best, but I'll be better than that 2.5 out of 10 that I threw out to lead off the video that probably made everybody shut it off.
Bro, you got to drop those op-eds.
You got to drop those op-eds.
Did you see the whoa?
Let there be
Ashes.
Did you see the documentary about the Fyre Festival on Netflix?
I watched both.
You watched both?
Watched the one on Hulu.
The Hulu, yeah.
The Hulu one was more accurate.
Yeah?
Because the people who ran the Fyre Festival are the ones who made it on Netflix. So that's super biased.
Oh, okay.
Of course, they didn't do anything wrong. They're like, oh, this guy Billy, he did everything wrong. He was bad, blah, blah, blah. So if you watch the one on Hulu, they even say it at the end, that Netflix is making their own one, and it's created by the guys who did the marketing for the original Fyre Festival. But you need to watch both.
Yeah. I didn't, like, I kept hearing about it. Like, I kept seeing memes on Facebook. Like, what is it?
Oh, of that guy?
Yeah, because I...
Do you know it if you know about it now?
No, like, I know a little bit of, like, I did like a Google search on it today because I was like, what is this? Why do I keep seeing this? Like,
10 years in fucking jail.
Because I remember hearing about
Deserves
it.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember hearing about it, but I don't really know, like, what really went on. Like, I have an idea, but I don't know exactly, like...
Are you asking me to tell you about it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm leading.
First of all, I would say that Ja Rule got out of this whole thing scot-free.
Yes, he did.
Because you watched the doc?
I didn't watch the doc, but I know the story.
But it was basically Ja Rule, and it was basically Ja Rule's idea for this. They created this app. It was a Fyre app, and it was basically like Tinder for booking artists. So like really rich people could open up.
He talked about this on one of his interviews.
Really rich people can open up, and they'd be like, Ja Rule? Swipe up, yeah, I'll book him. Like that, or swipe no.
I think he did that on Nori's podcast. He spoke about this, yeah.
So he became friends with this other guy. Was his name Billy McFarland, right?
Yes.
And he was just like, hey, why don't we turn this into a festival? So they went to this island in the Bahamas. They did all this stuff that the Bahama people told them don't do. They did it. So they kicked them off the island. It was an island that was owned by El Chapo. And they said, do not mention El Chapo. Do not promote anything about El Chapo. This is completely different. When they dropped the first advertisement, they're like, El Chapo's former island. Like they just so the Bahamian government went and they were like, you guys got to get out. So they found another location, and now they only had 3 months to plan this festival where they were expecting like 100,000 people to come. The space they had was way too small. It was like basically trying to fit a baseball stadium's worth of people on a high school football field.
Oh God.
They promised all of these high luxury rooms that were going for like some of them
were tents.
for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. They were FEMA tents.
Yeah,
They were leftover FEMA tents, which they had them all set up, and then the night before there was a crazy storm, so they all got wiped out. Anyway, all the artists were not paid, so they all dropped out last minute. So basically, you had an island where all these thousands of people showed up, and there was nothing. No lodging, no artists, no structure, no food. They were promised gourmet food from gourmet chefs.
That one piece of salad.
Yeah, they were.
That's a meme in itself.
It was like a crazy budget. It was like $5 million budget for food. And the guy was like, "All right, well, we only have $100,000 allocated for food. How are we gonna pay these guys $5 million?" He said, "Well, just fire him and get somebody else." This is like a week away. So you're now gonna tell somebody, "Hey, we need $100,000 worth of food in a week for way too many people." So basically, all it came out to was like a piece of bread with a piece of cheese and lettuce, and that's what everyone ate while they were there. But they had about $2 million worth of booze, so everyone was just hammered on the island. Yeah, it was crazy. Ton of people didn't get paid.
They're gonna do a horror movie
This poor woman on the island who basically let them use her restaurant and all of her workers and everything. They slaved away for 3 or 4 months, sometimes 24 hours a day. Not one of those people got paid. So that woman actually had to go in her own savings and take out $75,000 of her own savings, her whole life savings, and pay all of her workers who did all that work. And now she has nothing. They started a GoFundMe for her.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was just people owed millions of dollars, and then when it all went down and he got like arrested or whatever, he was still scheming while he was in prison doing other things like a Live Nation scheme, or like he'd be like, "Oh, we're offering tickets to the Grammy Awards. We have them for $500, blah blah," and the people would buy the ticket, and then they'd go and they'd be like, "We don't sell tickets for the Grammy Awards. Like, what is this?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, whatever." And they would use that money to pay off something else, and then they'd do another scam. It's almost like a pyramid sort of scheme.
Pyramid scheme.
So, yeah. So he's selling tickets for the Grammys, selling tickets for things that nobody's selling tickets for. But he got them, so these people were paying thousands of dollars, and they don't exist. So yeah, he's not a good person.
To say the least.
I mean, brilliant person.
Yeah.
Because of the way that he was able to manipulate and take advantage of people. But, serial killers are brilliant too. That's how they get away with being serial killers. Doesn't mean they're good people.
Yeah. It's like that Ted Bundy movie that's coming out.
Yeah, I got to see that documentary on Netflix.
I'm curious.
Netflix has way too much stuff to watch, man. It's like every single day they're adding something to Netflix. My list is like 50 shows deep.
I usually just watch Star Trek.
Oh, well, that's easy. Yeah. You keep it easy.
Yeah. If you weren't covering music, like, what would you cover? Like, what type of topic would you really want to cover if it wasn't music?
Oh, man, you hit me with a jab. What do I like?
Wrestling.
Besides music? No, I had to give up wrestling. It was taking too much of my time, and I was not getting the desired results. Which nobody seems to, but they keep watching it. I'd love to, like, when I'm like 50... and I'm just sick of music. Might happen by the time I'm 40. I'd love to be like a baseball beat writer, where my job is I just wake up, I hop on a plane with the baseball team, follow them around, write about that, put it out at 10 o'clock at night, and that's it. I just get to hang out with baseball players all day. I think that would be pretty cool. What else? What else do I like to write about? I love film. I mean, I'd love to do... like away from writing, like I'd love to like work on a show, or like I got really excited, working at Phoenix, which I actually didn't mention. So I work at Phoenix Studios. Right now I do social media marketing and strategies and some promotions, but they're doing a ton of shows and podcasts and different things that they're launching. And I saw them.
So you're saying we have a future?
Yeah. They have a studio that 4K studio, green screen, lighting, everything. They can live stream. I mean, equipped with everything. I saw it and I was like,
"Oh, babe, you gotta get me in there."
Yeah. And Tony Hansen, this is the guy. So I was super excited. I was like, I got to get involved with this place. They have a label and artist management and recording, all the things that I like to do, and it's like 10 minutes away from my house.
It's amazing.
Which is a big commute for me, because normally the commute's from my bed to my computer.
Yeah.
So you know,
gotta get in my car and it's cold, bro.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and just seeing, you know, how everything's coming together there, I was like, wow, gotta get involved to like one of these shows. I'd love to like help produce or set up, or, you know, even writing or researching and getting a talk show together. I did study film in college too. I have a minor in cinema studies.
Oh, cool.
A lot of people do, but like I actually like.
Hey.
No, but I'm not saying that as a knock.
Even I had a camera.
Because a lot of people are just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take cinema studies because I get to watch movies and it's cool. And the minor part is easier because you're taking classes. But like me, like I actually like, if I didn't like journalism so much, I probably would have went to be like a film major and really pursued that. But I was like, you know what, I like it, but, you know, I think I'm a better writer and more interested in that facet, so I'll take that as a minor, and maybe one day I can use that. So, like, this was the opportunity. I was like, I could use it.
Yeah.
I could use it. I can do it.
It's the degree.
Yeah, so I'd love to go in that direction someday and do something. I don't know, man. I picked all of the backup plans that aren't great backup plans. Like, what do you want to be? I want to be... It's like, first, I want to be a baseball player. That's a really unobtainable dream. Pick something else. All right, famous musician. All right, you're going to have to keep trying. All right, I'm going to be a journalist. Doable. You're not going to make a lot of money.
I'm going to be Michael Jordan as a baseball player.
As a baseball player who then writes the column about his game afterwards. Michael Jordan as a baseball player, still got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Still got to be pretty good.
And then gets kidnapped by Bugs Bunny. And
right.
Isn't that the American
So then he got into film.
Yeah.
So that would have been my great path. I played basketball, played baseball, got to be in a movie. When I was really young, I wanted to do animation or illustration. So the whole Bugs Bunny would have made my life full circle.
complete.
To reference Space Jam, it's dreams that you could reach at arm's length.
Right. You just give it that little extra stretch at the end.
There's my dad joke for tonight.
There's only one dad here, and it's Gerard.
Oh yeah, already.
Daddy Gerard.
Immune to the Morajo.
DG over here.
GG.
That should be my daddy name. I got this.
DGU. You're like the
DGU.
MCU universe, but it's Gerard's.
Oh man. Oh, so now, speaking of like some hip hop stuff, what was your first ever rap name?
My first ever illegitimate rap name was Joffro. Don't even ask me. So my cousin, growing up, back when you had to like put your initials at the end of like a high score for a video game, his was always Fro, because he had like really like nappy fro-y hair. You know, he's my older cousin. We kind of look alike. I looked up to him, so I made it different, and my name was Justin, so I made it like Jafro, G-A Fro. And then I realized this was really dumb. So I knew this guy who used to call me Sick Boy because he said I was crazy. I would like jump off of stuff and do stuff. So he used to call me Sick Boy. So I was like, all right, I'll be Sick Boy and I'll drop the C and I'll just do it with the K, and then I'll do the hip hop thing and drop the Y and put an I. So I was Sick Boy. That was my rap name. And then now that I'm an old man, I can't be a sick man. That just sounds terrible.
So then you'll be a young sick boy.
Yeah. So
Old sick boy.
when I do come back, and 2019 is going to be the year, I think I'm going with JMS, which would be my initials, but I would kind of spell it out.
That was actually like my first rap name. I used to be GMU.
GMU, Gimu. Oh, so I was almost close with that Daddy Gerard Uselli. But
Big Daddy G.
big Daddy G. So I think it would be like JMS, which would be JAY and then EMS, like that. Kind of phonetically sounded out, not like how Eminem did, which he did. So I might rethink that too. But it'll be JMS, whether it be the three initials of J, M, and S, or like J spelled out and then MS. That's what I think I'm going with.
So, as both of us have been white rappers in our past, present, and
I'm only half white, so I'm half Puerto Rican and half white. So I have a little more street cred than you.
So there you go. So they'll compare you to Curious, and they'll compare me to Eminem.
Oh, God.
That would be mighty generous of them.
That's a throwback.
If they went with Vanilla Ice, I would say thank you.
So like, how many? I'm curious, just like from a rapper standpoint, have people like compared you to Eminem before, like in your past?
No, I sound nothing like Eminem. I know most white rappers say that, and they do.
Yeah.
My voice, I don't have that type of voice. I don't rap that way. I do like incorporate some of the fast stuff that Eminem would do, but I don't think my voice sounds anywhere near like him. And he's just really good. I don't think I'm like really, really good. So
Gotcha.
I don't even want to say like if somebody said I sounded like Eminem, I'd go, maybe buy them a bagel or something. It's funny. We did a POF show.
I'll go to Bagel Bistro with you.
Yeah,
Eminem.
I think they're closed.
Yeah.
POF sounds nothing like these bands, but people don't know because pretty unique bands. So someone was like one time, it's like, you're like if Eminem rapped in Metallica, and I'm like, thank you, but that is wildly inaccurate.
Yeah.
Like it's like my band sounds nothing like Metallica. I sound nothing like Eminem. But it was better. I would rather take that.
Joe Valenti?
No, some woman in the city.
We had to mention.
Some woman in the city when I was playing a show in Manhattan like 8 years ago, and she was hitting on me hardcore, and she must have been like 15 years older than me, and I was like 22 or 23 at the time. I was like, yeah, we're not doing this. She's like, hey, how can I, follow your band? I was like, you have Facebook? She's like, no. I was like, you have Twitter? No. You have email? No. She's like, I have a phone though, and I was like, nah. We're not. I was like, all right, here's Dylan's number. Hit him up when you want to know about shows. But I will take that over someone saying, "Oh, you guys sound like Limp Bizkit," and I'm like, "No, don't do that."
I said Linkin Park. That's what I said.
People say Linkin Park because that's the only thing that people think to compare it to. But I mean, Gerard
said Chronic Future.
Yeah, I mean that would be more accurate. But even still, we're a lot heavier than them.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Coheed and Cambria or Dream Theater sounding if we had a rapper. That's the best I would compare it to. On the new album, I do a lot of singing. I think I might do more singing than rapping on the new album.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be pretty diverse. But yeah, I know that cliche thing is I'm a white rapper who doesn't sound like Eminem, and my rap rock band does not sound like Linkin Park. But I would challenge you to go look myself up and my band up, and you can come to those conclusions on your own.
Oh, man. We're calling out a lot of bets over here.
Go ahead. I'm ready. I'll take my lumps.
Oh,
If someone said I sounded like Eminem, I would say thank you so much. But you will find
I've heard him rap one time. You sound a lot like Eminem.
Maybe it sounds like a bag of M&M's getting rattled in the microphone, right?
If Eminem had Tourette's.
he kind of does when he raps these days.
Oh, yeah.
Arm singe, orange peel. What do you
think of his relatively new album?
I mean, it's a heck of a lot better than his other album.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that song with Beyonce?
Oh, God almighty. I mean, Kamikaze is head and shoulders above, what was the other one called?
That's so sad, though.
No, not Rap God.
No, that wasn't an album.
What was it called? It's not Marshall Mathers 2.
No,
that was one before that. That one was, okay.
It's all right.
Revival. Kamikaze was head and shoulders above Revival, but even if you still go back and listen to like mid-2000s, early 2000s, I'm on Drugs Eminem, he needs the drugs. like talent-wise, rapping ability, skill level, the man cannot be touched. Nobody can touch him. But as far as like getting a song together that you want to listen to again, it's a little tough on the ears. Like, no, it's tough to be like, let me bump back that 7-minute song with no chorus of just him rapping rippity rappity ho, bippity fappity ho.
Like it's sad how when you had that song with Joyner Lucas, Joyner almost outshined him.
Right, and that's the best song on the album.
Lucky you, yeah.
They both killed it on there. I would dare say that was a closer matchup of talent and skill for two MCs than Eminem and Jay-Z on Renegade.
Right.
Because I think Jay-Z was phenomenal on Renegade, but
Eminem
was such at the peak of his power that he beat him on that.
I'm going to say this real quick. One of my favorite newer Eminem collaborations is Caterpillar with Royce the 5'9". That's a great song.
Where it's on Royce's album?
I think so.
Okay, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it came out like summer of 2018. It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, yes, Eminem's a definitely a legend, definitely top 5 ever, definitely technically, lyrically, ability-wise, arguably the greatest rapper of all time.
Next to him.
Do I want to listen to the songs he's putting out? Yeah, once or twice. To be like, wow, he's really good at rapping. I knew this already. But do you want to listen to these all the time? I don't know. It's tough. He doesn't have that replayability anymore.
Who's he feuding with now? Or was feuding with?
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah,
That's
he got body bagged. Machine Gun Kelly's 10 fans stood up for him, and that was about it. That was a no contest.
Comparison-wise, yeah.
That was a no contest.
Yeah, I remember. That was over the summer, or that was like late last year?
That was like June-ish, July-ish.
Yeah. I remember everybody was like up in arms, like, oh my god. I'm just like.
I will say that Machine Gun Kelly, he did come in very strong. And he did have one of the best disses towards Eminem, which then meant that Eminem just had to come back 10 times harder.
Yeah.
And I actually thought he took it easy on him. Because if you've heard when he was feuding with Ja Rule Ja Rule was getting mentioned way too much on one podcast. Ja Rule and Benzino and those dudes.
Benzino.
He was out for like
the
blood.
Greatest funeral of hip hop.
He was out for blood, and he had DMX with them, and he had 50 Cent with them, and he had D12 with them, and they were trying to kill these guys. Machine Gun Kelly was just like, all right, I'll respond a week later. I'll take it easy on him. I don't want to hurt the kid. And he killed him.
If there was like one, I mean, I guess aside from Eminem because we talked about him so much.
Yeah.
If there was one rapper who's not Christian who you would love to put on like Rapzilla, who would you want to like talk to find out more about his or her like religious beliefs and stuff, how it's influenced them over time?
Hey, that's a dope question. I think Kanye West would be a super interesting case study.
Oh, jeez.
Case study.
Because
amazing.
He's all over the map. And like one day he's a Christian, believes in God. The next day he is the God himself. Or
Rakim's the God himself.
Right, like he puts out a song called Jesus Walks, but then he puts out a song called I Am a God, but then he comes back and says he's making a gospel album, but then puts out an album that sonically sounds gospel but is super profane and everything that he's talking about. And I'm like, that's not. I've heard gospel before. That's not it, bro. This isn't it. He would be interesting to talk to. I mean, Chance the Rapper always talks about being a Christian all the time, very like unashamedly. So I guess I wouldn't need to talk to him, right? So. I don't know, maybe Lil Wayne, because
Lil Wayne would be interesting.
Lil Wayne said that he read the Bible when he was in prison and he was changed, and supposedly he's off drugs now and whatever. I mean, anybody who kind of references faith or whatever would be interesting. DMX said if he wasn't a rapper, he'd be a preacher, but then he keeps getting arrested and he's battling the demons of like cocaine and drugs.
I love his music. Like, his later music is so good.
Yeah, and every album he puts out, he always puts almost like a Christian track on there, like at the end, like where he's like praying or he's doing something. I mean, I think he'd be fascinating to talk to. I mean, anyone who's just going to have a good conversation that's opinionated on and knows something. Like, I don't want to talk to, like, I don't want to ask, like, Lil Yachty or Lil Uzi Vert or one of these guys.
I would love to talk to Lil Yachty.
He's like, hey, let's talk about religion. What? Like it's like, no. Yeah. I don't really know about it. I don't really care about it.
The tattoos on his face. Oh God.
6ix9ine.
Yeah. 6.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me. So I wrote a story about 6'9", actually like went to church in Brooklyn, and he got baptized, and this pastor had him up in front of the stage and talked about how he believes in God now and all that. So when I wrote that story, the pastor, his name is Clifford Gray, he actually DM'd me on Instagram, and he was like, thanks for writing that story, blah, blah, blah. And he's been very, like, visible within this whole thing with Tekashi. Like, he was going to the court cases with him. Like, he is Tekashi's pastor. He was one of the guests that I was trying to get on one of the shows on Phoenix, which I didn't mention before. It was called The Sunday Sauce. And I actually kind of had him confirmed, but we pushed the show back. Talking to Tekashi would be crazy because everyone has this perception of him and this persona that he puts on. But maybe he's not really like that. Maybe he is a dude who likes to go to church but puts on that, facade because that's who he is as an artist.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always get an interesting conversation. Like, I feel like, and with someone like him, that's not something he'll ever talk about on an interview. Like, he'll go on Hot 97 or Power 105, and he's got to be a tough, guarded guy.
Did you see Soulja Boy's new interview?
Yeah, Drake. Like, but you have people like that who are used to talking about the same thing all the time, always being defensive. They got to be tough. They got to be real because they're rappers. Then you hit them with, yo, can you tell me about like your faith? Like, do you believe in God? Stuff. They kind of gonna let their guard down. It's not something they talk about. You're gonna get like an honest, real, like opinion and emotion about it. Hopefully, so that would be dope. And I mean, I'd love to try to do that at some point. These guys are just, some of these guys are super unobtainable.
Right.
I mean, Tekashi's in jail. He's very unattainable. But I mean, that would be amazing. Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's a good question.
Let's see, 51 minutes. Oh,
we're 51 minutes?
I know.
No
man.
way.
Yeah.
Just bullshitting about life.
Wow.
Goes by fast, man.
Justin, do you have anything additional you would like to promote?
Yes, I do. And I guess you'll all be hearing this on Monday. So Rapzilla, I'm the editor of Rapzilla.com. The owner, Chad Horton, and I, and another coworker named Steven Solis, the three of us have partnered together, and Rapzilla just purchased it's not an independent, it's another Christian hip-hop website, but much smaller, called New H2O. And basically we're taking the staff that's there, and we're taking everything that's there, and we're going to bring it into our brand, and it's going to be like the minor leagues of Rapzilla. So it's going to be an independent artist hub where, you won't have to worry about hearing about the same people that, like, we won't have to post about NF every time he does something on there. This is strictly geared for the up-and-comers, the people who are out there doing it on their own, indie, up to some of the mid-tier guys that deserve more recognition and deserve, like, their own place away from, like, some of the more mainstream, bigger artists. And the plan also with that is that we want it to be like a marketing and distribution development zone, almost like the real minor leagues of baseball where you have different levels, single A, double A, triple A, and we want to help these guys advance and develop till they can graduate and make the big leagues and be on Rapzilla and beyond.
You know what I'm thinking in regards to that idea? Now, can you imagine, like, let's say you want to endorse like 5 rappers from that?
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing like an Instagram story takeover, meaning that you would have one rapper for the whole day of like your content? That rapper has the opportunity to have his or her story
their day
on your platform.
We've done things similar where we'll do like, say it's like a Thursday night and the artist is dropping a record on Friday. We'll have them take over for like 2 hours or something on like Facebook Live or Instagram Live, and they can almost do like an album listening party. The story idea is pretty interesting. The problem with that, with stories at least, is that
redundancy.
Maybe redundancy. You don't want them to overpost. God forbid they do something that's kind of like off-brand.
Okay, that's fair.
Then you're just kind of like, hey, that's on our platform. Whereas at least if you're doing it live, it's like, it's kind of a thing and it's over. It happens
There's
for
a
the
sense
moment.
of accountability.
Right. We can always chime in and be like, hey, can you not do that?
Can you be a good boy today?
Yeah. I mean, you have more control of it. Like they're doing a listening session. They're sitting in front of their computer. They're filming themselves. They're listening to their album. They're taking questions. Like we don't see him. Like, oh, he's in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom right now. This is dope. Like, no, what are you doing? That's not good for our brand.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is an interesting idea. Yeah.
I'm sitting on the toilet.
Yeah. We are seeing way too much of your life. But, I mean, stuff like that is really cool. One thing I experimented with 2 weeks ago, there's this rapper named What Up RG. He tweeted out that he just wanted to have an honest conversation, do an interview that was an honest conversation, no promotion, no anything. So I hit him up, and I was like, yo, RG, I'm your guy. Let's just talk. We won't have to talk about your music. Don't promote anything. Let's just talk about whatever. So I actually, we have this program called Restream. So we streamed live on Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, and YouTube.
All at the same time?
All at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Restream?
Restream. Of course, Instagram is lame, and you can't do anything from a desktop, so we couldn't do it. But yeah, so all of our platforms, for the exception of Instagram, had me interviewing RG live, and we spoke about 5 minutes, 50 minutes. And people were leaving stuff in the comments, and
wow,
it was really dope interview. I prepared questions, but it was more like conversational talking points. Like, why did you want to have this honest conversation? I'm reading through your Twitter, and you seem to be, going through some stuff. What's this thing? What's something that you think Rapzilla can do better as an artist? What's something you wish to see? And I didn't ask him anything about what he's doing. He actually eventually offered up some of that information without my prompting. But, it just felt, really cool. I was sitting in my PJs. I was sitting in my daughter's bed with the laptop while she was sleeping in another room doing. There was actually work going on right outside the room. So it's so live and at the moment. It's at 10 o'clock at night that you actually hear, drilling going on. My power went out, 3 or 4 times because they were working on electrical.
It's
and you see my lights. You see my lights flickering on like it's a disco going in and out. And this is live in front of thousands of people. That's the beauty of live things. But it was still kind of cool. It captured a feeling. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't prepared or anything. And we just went at it. So we're gonna be trying to do more stuff like that because that's organic. People like that real stuff.
Does your daughter have a even though of course she's young and everything.
She just turned 2 on Monday.
Do you think she kind of has a sense as to what you do?
No.
In any sense or shape or form?
No, she has no idea. She's probably like, why is dad always home and mom goes to work? Why is he always here? He never goes away. I'd much rather have mom home. No, I mean, I try to expose her to a lot of music and stuff. I made a beat last night, and I played it for her this morning, and she started going like this.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And then when it was done, she says, more. So I was like, hey, you like it? Well, one person at least liked it. I got one person.
Got my biggest fan. Yeah,
she has no idea. I mean, she just turned 2 on Monday, but I'd love to raise her super musical, and I want her to be creative and. She already seems kind of free-spirited. She'll just start dancing, or she's really funny. I mean, a lot of babies are funny because, they don't know anything. But I feel like sometimes she's intentionally, doing something to be funny. I was like, you have comedic timing?
Right.
This is exceptional. We haven't created a genius, baby.
You're funnier than Jerry. What's going on?
Well, I mean, that's...
Well,
that's not tough.
Yeah, that's definitely not tough.
Yeah, so I mean, she has no idea what I do. She's probably, what does this big, tall guy do all day? He sits in his room on the computer.
In his PJs all day.
Tries to rap all the time.
Fortnite, the good
no Fortnite for me. No, I got no time for video games. I still play Xbox 360.
There you go.
I've been playing MLB 2K11.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because that's the last baseball game that they made for 360, so that's the latest one I have.
There you go.
That's what I've been doing. Whenever I have a free 40 minutes, I'll throw that on. But man, I'm always writing. I'm going through hundreds of emails a week, posting people's music. I'm doing interviews. Now I got another website that I got to take care of, another team. I work my 8 to 10 hours at Phoenix. I do some freelancing, some press releases and social media for businesses and artists on the side. I'm running shows on Saturdays. I got another job where I'm making playlists. I do marketing for my uncle's company. I got like 6 jobs. I got no time for video games.
I gotcha.
This podcast, I was like, okay, I can fit this in after a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock.
Right.
This is like the freest I ever will be, is at like 9 o'clock.
I like it.
On a Thursday. And usually I'm not.
Right.
So
this took us like a month to make happen, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, this is me. Like every week for a podcast, be like, "Did you get Justin?" No, I'm talking now.
Well,
Did you get Justin? No.
2 times you canceled, right?
Yeah.
Or one time.
It was once.
And then I canceled once.
I think it was a snowstorm or
something.
And then the other time it was, you were like, "Can you come?" And I was like, "Jerry, isn't that New Year's Day?" And you were like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, you were like something like, "We could do a special New Year's episode." I'm like, "I'm not doing a New Year's episode. I got."
Yeah, that's what Jerry was like. Kush, we could do a New Year's episode. I'm like, Jerry, like, no, you're having your party the night before, and I don't know if it's appropriate.
I mean, had I known it was 2 minutes away, maybe we could have made it happen
Exactly.
a little sooner.
Yeah.
But had I known that, I could like poke out my house, and be like, "What's up, bro? Let's podcast right in the street." That would
just run a power line.
Yeah, a big extension cord with XLR cables everywhere.
XLR cables down the street.
2020 vision.
I mean, I'm super busy, but I'm trying to get it all focused together. Oh, let me throw one more plug in there. I'm sorry to be all pluggy.
Pluggy.
I'm working on a book,
Nice.
and I have a podcast. My podcast is called Survival of the Artist, and I interview a ton of indie artists, mostly.
Especially these indie
But,
artists.
Yeah.
wait, is this the same podcast that we were on, or is this?
No, that's
okay.
a different one. I gave that one up because my band wasn't really into doing it with me, so I was like, I just gotta do this on my own.
Wait, you want to know what's funny about the podcast? Was I was mentioning to Jerry was the last week's episode we were talking about the sequel to the movie that never got made.
Yes,
The Seventh Seal.
yeah.
And the irony of it was that was our first interview with you on your podcast, and now the week later we have you on this podcast.
So there you go.
It's,
See, so it worked out.
Yeah.
But like I've come to the point now at 30 years old, and I came to this point last year, but really focusing in on it is like my whole life I tried to like do things with people and bring people with me. Let's push the band. Let's push this magazine that I don't own. Let's, do this. I want to give this person an opportunity. I want to start a label and sign all my friends. And you know what? Nobody ever does as good as a job or pushes as hard as you will do it yourself. So I came to this realization. Call me selfish a little bit, but like, and I don't think it's selfish. Like, I have a very limited time. I just told you my schedule is super busy. So when I want to do something, it's either, and that's where the 30-year-old part comes in, because I have a family and everything. If I'm going to do something, it's either going to make me money or it's going to help me move somewhere to make money. Because I have people to look after. My time, I feel, I spent like the first half of my professional career doing things for free or for no money, to try to get to where I am now as a professional where I can make money, and I feel like I deserve a little bit of respect. And I got a family to look after, and of course I'll do freebies, for friends. I do stuff, every once in a while, but like if it's taking up my time, like I need to be paid, or I need to see where it's going to go to advance me. So one of these things I have is this podcast, Survival of the Artist podcast. It's on SoundCloud. I am about to it's audio. I'm about to do my 13th episode. Most of the guys are in the Christian hip-hop space because that's in the space that I'm in. But I talk to indie artists and basically, like, how do you guys make it, without a label, without any support? What did you do to get to where you're at now? And basically run the gamut of, like, 10 similar questions every episode, but more geared towards them. And lots of people listen to it and they learn. It's cool because my podcast, like, only artists listen to it, and up and coming artists, and they learn from it, and they're like, wow, I can see like this guy No Big Deal that you mentioned. I could see how No Big Deal got from his parents' house to like where he's at now, touring the country with Lecrae and being signed to Capitol Records. So it's kind of inspirational in that sense, and it's an honest conversation. So I'm gonna take and that podcast is gonna move over to New H2O, which I'm really excited about.
Nice.
And the other thing I do is I do a ton of artist tips on Twitter, and I'll do hashtag artist tip. And basically, I'll see something that somebody does wrong when they send an email or they submit to Rapzilla, or I see some foolery by an artist. And my artist tips will basically just be like, don't do this. And I won't ever call the person out what they did. But like, if the person sent a really crappy email that it was like, yo, sup, here's my music, and it drops a link, says no other information, super informal, I'll be like, hashtag artist tip. Be professional when you send an email, because if I see something that's not professional, I'm going to delete it, even if you're the best rapper ever. Like stuff like that. Or artist tip, always make sure, the spelling is correct, or have good high profile images, or, be consistent with social media, whatever. So I get tons of engagement on that on Twitter. So someone said to me, why don't you turn those tweets into a book? And that was an idea I had, but I forgot. It's like, because I'm too busy. So when the person said that, I was like, yo, you're right. I got to turn it into a book. So I actually requested my whole Twitter archive from Twitter. So I've been going back through like 8 years. Luckily, all my artist tips are from the last 2 years.
Right.
So I'm compiling all of them, and then I'm basically going to just open up each one. Like, take one, and instead of like your one Twitter sentence limitation of what it is, whatever characters, I'll write a page about that. And then I'm going to release that as an ebook to sell. And ebooks are cheap, maybe $3.99, $2.99. And I'm going to call it Survival. Oh, man, what did I call it? It's going to be like Survival of the Artist. And then, the key to survival for an independent artist in today's age. Something I totally botched the name. I only thought of the name once, and I tweeted it out. This is what my book's going to be called, and then I didn't look at it again. But the beginning of it's going to be like, it's going to coincide with the Survival of the Artist podcast, and they kind of work hand in hand together. So it's just taking those tips and putting them out on paper.
Let me know when that's done.
People to buy.
Sounds pretty interesting.
I'm excited. Basically, all the tips are there, so I just have to take them all, compile them, and then write it out. So I'm hoping to drop that in the spring. So that in my podcast.
We're gonna do our own how to do a great podcast.
Yeah.
From me and Christian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
how to fire your co-host?
how to share a microphone with someone you don't want to. Yeah. So to sum it up, my band is Process of Fusion. My main gig website is rapzilla.com. Also, check out Phoenix Studios. Check out podcast Survival of the Artist. The book is coming soon. The album is coming soon. And hopefully me not being busy is coming soon.
There you go.
But that's it. Thank you, guys. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Justin.
I'm really trying. I'm trying to be the best at everything I do.
There you go.
The best in the world.
Love you.